Good morning. Welcome to InfoCision Stadium. If you're joining us by Zoom or by live stream, welcome to today's press conference. And an exciting day for the University of Akron, Department of Athletics, and the Akron football program. We'll hear from the University President, Dr. Miller. Then we'll hear from the Athletic Director, Charles Guthrie. We'll break for a quick photo op today, and then we'll come back and get remarks from our head coach. At that time, the media will be able to ask questions. And if you are following us on Zoom, please enter your questions in the chat. Once you enter your questions in the chat, somebody from our communications staff will communicate those up here to the panel. At the conclusion of today's press conference, there will be opportunities for one-on-one interviews. Please contact Sean Palchek, Megan Donovan, or myself. But to begin today, I'd like to introduce the University of Akron President, Dr. Gary Miller.
Thank you. Well, Georgia down here and I are delighted and very excited to be here with you this morning to introduce a very important and critical university leader to you and to the rest of the university community. I want to begin by welcoming, I want to welcome Joe and Jen and the family, which we are just getting to meet, and I can't wait to get to know all of you down there. We got a whole section in the stadium for you when we're ready. There are a lot of folks to thank for getting us here today. Charles Guthrie, our athletic director, has done an enormous, let's give Charles a round of applause here. I am amazed at Charles's network and the amount of work that he and his staff put in to get us to this point. I really appreciate your leadership, Charles. You are. We had two trustees who were involved in this, in getting Coach Moorhead here today, Trustee Christine Mayer and Trustee Bill Scalo. I don't know if either of them is here, but we want to thank them. The Board of Trustees at the University of Akron is very supportive of our football, FBS football program, and this means a lot to them. We have also, I think I see him back there behind Zippy, our NCAA faculty representative, Matt Jurovich. Matt, thank you for bringing the faculty perspective to this and everything else you do to keep us on track in our athletic program. I just want to say something to you we think is very important. One of the things that we really value, maybe it's what we value the most at the University of Akron, is making and keeping promises to our students, our community, and to ourselves, to each other. Whenever a student comes to the University of Akron, no matter what they're doing, whether they're a music student or a mechanical engineering student or a healthcare student or a business student, we know that when they're in the classroom, they're going to get a world-class experience. Because we have a world-class faculty and they have a deep commitment to every one of those students. We know any student that participates in any activity in the university, the band, whatever, they're going to get a world-class experience because we've got the right people there. We expect that same opportunity for our almost 500 student athletes, all of whom come here because they have a passion to not only get a degree but to also excel. We want to make sure that they have a chance to be a champion and to get the kind of life experience that those of us who were intercollegiate athletes got and understand the importance of. And that value is very important to Charles and to me and to the trustees when we went out to search for a head football coach, clearly a very important leadership position at an FBS university. And I think that we found in Coach Moorhead a person who demonstrably and throughout his career has demonstrated this value. And in fact, one of the most exciting things about the coach is watching his former players speak out on Twitter and in other social media about the opportunity that he has here at Akron and what he meant to them during their lives. This is important to us at Akron. The other thing that's important is getting that wagon wheel back. And so Coach and I did have that conversation, and he said, he reassured me that there would have a chance. So I just want to say on behalf of the University of Akron to the coach, to Jen, to the family, that we not only are grateful you're here, we're excited that you're here, and Coach, we believe that your background and your commitment to these students, to football, to this university, this community is exactly what we need right now. We're very excited about it. So thank you, and thank you, all of you for. And I got to introduce Charles. Charles Guthrie is our athletic director, and I have to say Charles is not a rising star in athletics in America. He's already a star. And he has worked with me at 2 different universities, 2 different situations. He is a leader in every respect, and not just in athletics. He's a team player in our cabinet. He's a community member. He has got a great family. Michelle is here, and we appreciate her work as well. And I am very pleased and humbled to have an opportunity to work with Charles. And so, Charles, I'm going to let you introduce our coach. Yeah.
All right. Well, good morning, and thanks, Dr. Miller, First Lady Georgia. It's been quite a great run the last 4 or 5 years being a part of your family and your leadership team here at the University of Akron. So they always say it's about the people you work for, it's not where you work. And I'm excited every day to come to work for this gentleman and the First Lady, to bring it every day and make you all proud of a great athletic program at a fantastic institution. We're here to talk about our great coach, so I'm so excited, Coach Moorhead. I tell you a story, and I think our senior associate AD, Jackie, and my wife were at a game, a volleyball game, and I got a text from a former athletic director who has been a good mentor of mine, Dave Roach, who was the AD at Fordham. And I said, Dave, I'm hearing that we might be able to talk to this guy, Joe Moorhead. And his first words out of his mouth was, you never get that guy there. You might as well just start all over. And I said, all right. And so I didn't call him at all, just kind of like kept everything low key. And then it was pretty cool to call Dave up on his little vacation. He's retired now, and say, I think we got Coach Moorhead. And he was like stunned. And he said, number one, he's the best coach I've ever worked with. He's a team player, and he's just probably going to win a lot of ball games for you. And he said, the only thing I had against Coach Moorhead was he always called me Mr. Roach, and I could never get him to call me Dave. And that just tells a lot about who we have here that's going to represent our university, our community, and our city. So how the process started, I'll be really brief on the process. It was really grueling, and I want to thank my wife, Michelle, my 2 daughters, for putting up with me the last 6 weeks. As Coach John Gross, our men's basketball coach here, talked about as like recruiting a student athlete. Now I kind of get a sense of what you guys are dealing with trying to recruit athletes and that process. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of pressure to deliver. And we kept everything under wraps. As you can imagine, 4 weeks, a lot of names floating around, a lot of speculation. There's only 130 FBS jobs in America. So obviously they were very coveted jobs. And when you're trying to recruit someone at the highest level of college athletics, had a team that was at one point ranked number 3 or 4 in the country, on track to go to the college football playoffs, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And so we had a lot of folks involved as far as the campus. We had the board of trustees, the 2 board members. Jackie and Marcus Jennings were part of the screening process, and then we had our FAR involved. And obviously I kept the president up to date. Interesting enough, it was the most time I talked to the president on the phone since I've worked with him over 4 years, because he's kind of like, he doesn't get in the way too much. But I called him every day and gave him an update on the situation and where we were. And it was pretty cool to kind of connect with the president on that level, to keep him in the loop on how things were progressing. And then things just started to come together. And as they came together, we knew we had our guy. And I was just hoping that he'd take the job. And the president and I went out to Oregon on a night flight, and I had to tell the president to take off his pins. He had Akron gear on, and I was like, hey, man, we might want to take off our suits here before we get to Oregon. They're going to wonder. And we're driving in the cab, and the lady's asking questions like, you know, millions of questions like, where you guys from? And we're only on business, and we're just trying to lay low. She just kept going in. And we did our home visit, and I was telling Jennifer, and so glad to see you here and your family. And maybe down the road, our future quarterback, a lefty, out of Hoban High School. We got to a home visit, and you know, dogs and cats, kind of like, you know, not my deal. And I knew, learning from my wife, she said, you always got to be good with people's pets, because they'll tell you you're a nice guy. So I'm petting this dog, trying to be nice to the dog, and I'm just like sitting here like, I hope the dog doesn't bite me and tell him I'm a bad guy. So, and then we ended up spending 3.5 hours with Coach and his family, and, you know, we walked out of there, and it was the most exciting part about Coach. During the interview process, I know Jackie and Marcus were in that room, and Dr. Jurovich is around. When you pulled up the gear on the teleprompter or up on the Zoom and showed us how passionate you were about Akron and how special this place meant to you, I was like, this is magic right here. And we walked away from those Zooms like, are you kidding me? This guy is like really that fired up about Akron, so it's pretty awesome. But I want to say a couple of thank yous and then move on to the process, because we want to hear from our great football coach here. So I want to say thanks to the Board of Trustees and President Miller in Georgia. The current state of alignment at the university, and George Van Horn, who's our senior associate, brought this up to me. He's been here for 20 years, and George mentioned that this is the first time in his career at the university that we have board alignment, presidential alignment, and AD alignment. And I think that's critical to attract really good people to come work at the institution when you have alignment. So I want to thank them. Provost John Winsick and the FAR. We're building bridges across the entire university, and Coach will be a big piece of that work. We're excited to collaborate on behalf of all student athletes, so that's really important. And my team, you know, Marcus Jennings, George Van Horn, Jackie Walgren, Candace Smith, who's our CFO, Paul Hammond, Kathy Rex, Christy Reese in the president's office, Christy Brumman. I'm sure I probably missed some people. And all the coaches for being patient, and Ann Jorgensen is here. Thank you. You're a big part of what we do here. And, you know, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. So that's important. Also, I'd like to thank Oscar Rodriguez. I don't know if he's here, Coach Oscar. He took on the task of taking over a team in the midst of the season. He represented himself very well. So I want to thank Oscar and his wife and his family for leading us down the stretch run, and we're wishing him all the best. And then Todd Turner, Drew Turner from Turner's Collegiate Sports and Associates. They did a wonderful job of organizing the entire search, the data analytics, everything that went into the back end process. They were really great with that. And also, they had to calm me down, so they went and got a bouncer for me, so to speak. They wouldn't hire Craig Littlepage, the former UVA AD, to kind of check in on me to keep me calm. Because I'm like, so I was like, why am I talking to Craig? And I realized they had to keep me on the even keel through the process. And as you know, Craig Littlepage is one of the most esteemed athletic directors in the country, having served at UVA for over 2 decades. And so he and I were on the phone quite a bit. And then, you know, I'd like to thank our supporters right here, the House of LaRose. Mr. LaRose, thank you for everything. So from day one, we met, and I think you and I almost got emotional in my office. And I don't want to get choked up here, but that meant a lot to me. You know, you said we need to get our place back to where it needs to be. And we have other trustees and the former trustees in the room. I'm gonna probably miss someone, and Matt Colleague, I want to mention him, another guy that it was instrumental in this whole process. He was just there. You know, he said, Charles is just, you know, I'm not asking for a lot. He said, we just want to get our respect. You know, and I think there's a lot of people in this community like that just really want us to get our respect back. So, and if I'm missing anyone, don't feel slighted, because I know you've all been there for us. And of course, the president mentioned Mr. Scala and Trustee Mayer. So I don't want to forget anyone, but we're excited to move forward. With that being said, I'm going to introduce our next head football coach. So excited to work with you, partner with you, and a new member of the university leadership team, Coach Joe Moorhead.
Good morning, everybody. Really appreciate everyone taking some time out to visit with us today on a very important day for my family and I. And I stand before you incredibly honored and excited to be the next head football coach at the University of Akron. And certainly there are a lot of people that we need to recognize for why we're here. And certainly starting with President Miller, A.D. Guthrie, Ms. Georgia, Ms. Michelle, the Board of Trustees, our donors, all the administrative staff that were involved in the process. Because I can speak from experience. Sometimes they could be arduous, sometimes they could be painstaking, but they are, very long, and they require a ton of attention to detail. And the amount of professionalism and thoroughness that were exhibited by A.D. Guthrie and President Miller throughout this process were something that made this decision, quite frankly, very easy for me. And I would like to say thank you for that, and can't be more proud to be here. Certainly, I think we may put a good chunk into attendance with my family, and a lot of them are represented here today. So certainly starting with my wonderful family, my wife Jennifer, my son Donovan, my daughter Kira, her boyfriend John Alex. Hello, John Alex. And my oldest boy Mason is a freshman football player, mechanical engineering major at Grove City. So they've got finals this week, and struggling a little bit to get those things going, so he wasn't able to make it today. So I can't express the amount of gratitude I have for my family for this 24-year journey. There have been a ton of highs, a couple 2-3 lows, but through all of that, we've stuck together, and you were the reason I wake up every morning and do what I do. So thank you for that. Also blessed to have my parents and my mom and my sister and my niece here. Dad, thank you for wearing the MAC championship hat from 2005. And, putting that immediate pressure on me right off the jump. So appreciate that. Good looks there. But my dad Merv, my mom Rose, my sister Tina, my niece Tatum. Thomas wasn't able to be here. My oldest brother lives in Minneapolis with his family, and he was going to book a flight, and I said, "Well, come to the games, right? That'll be more important." But certainly, how I learned to be a man, how I learned to be a husband, how I learned to be a father, and how I learned to be a competitor because of you guys. And when he joked about saying Mr. and Mrs., I learned that from my father, and it was also on Mr. and Mr. to deal with the consequences. I didn't want to deal with the consequences. So being able to be respectful was something that I hold very near and dear, and I thank you guys for everything. My father-in-law Archie, my mother-in-law Vicky, and my sister-in-law Shelley are here as well, and they have been steadfast in their support everywhere that we've been, and the good news is that they save gear. So since we're coming back around on the second end and they have all their Akron gear, all right, they don't have to go back and buy all that stuff, so thank you guys for everything. And then I can't mention high school coaches by name, certainly have developed a great rapport over the years with the high school coaches in this area in Western Pennsylvania. But one of my great friends and closest confidants in this business is here today, so I appreciate you coming to share this day with me, and it means a lot to me that you drove down and you're here, so thank you very much. I want to talk a little bit about the the process of coming to Akron, because that's been a question that's kind of been thrown about lately, and why Akron? And when I was a young graduate assistant at the University of Pittsburgh many years ago, I worked for a guy named Paul Rhodes, and I was leaving my GA position and trying to decide between my first 3 jobs of where to go, and was looking for advice on decision-making criteria. And Coach Rhodes said to me that there's 3 things that are always pertinent when you're making the decision of where you want to go work. And he said they're personal, professional, and monetary in that order. And those were the things that played into my decision. And the first part is the personal aspect of it. To be able to come back home to Pittsburgh, 2 hours from my family, to be 1 hour from my son playing college ball, and being able to see him and be around him, and then getting to a place where I know that my son's going to be able to be in high school for his whole career, and I appreciate my other 2 children being at a couple high schools. It was a no-brainer to me, and the fact that we sat down and talked about what were possibilities, at the end of the season if things opened up. And when this thing opened up, and I forget what point in the season it was, my wife and I sat down and talked, and we're like, hey, we got to get our agent on the phone with Mr. Guthrie, because this is a place where we want to be. So the number one factor that was involved in our decision to come here was personal. And some coaches want to talk about philosophy, talk about family, say that's philosophy, and sometimes it's lip service. But the fact that I was able to make a decision, to make my family happy was critically important. Second is professionally, where are you able to go to a place where you have experienced, honest, and leaders that are able to explain their vision, talk to you about what the expectation level is, and provide you a tremendous amount of support. And we have that in President Miller and A.D. Guthrie, a place where there are excellent facilities and the resources that are available to be successful in an area that's a fertile recruiting hotbed, right, and a team that has talent, and a fact that we've won here before. So professionally, it was a no-brainer. And the last part, monetarily, as a college football coach, right, wrong, or indifferent, we are privy to good money. But that was the last factor that came into play here. And there were a lot of other job opportunities that had a lot of other zeros at the end of it. But at the end of the day, to me, you can't put a price tag on family. So all those zeros in the world and the logo on your shirt, coaching is what I do. It's not who I am. And I'm not validated by the school that I'm at. So, all those factors put together, were played in the process of coming to the University of Akron, and once again can't reiterate how excited I am to be here. Talking a little bit about the process and the plan, we want to work diligently to build a program that the University of Akron, the city of Akron, and the state of Ohio, of which they can be proud, and that's the number one goal. And I had a brief meeting with the team yesterday. I see a couple of the guys here because a lot of them are home for break, so we didn't have our first true official team meeting. But I wanted to swing by and introduce myself to the guys. That there is no magic wand, right? And this thing isn't going to be a quick fix that happens because I'm here and I have a fairly decent coaching pedigree. It's not going to be through what we proclaim on social media. It's not going to be a slogan we put on the back of a T-shirt. It's going to be done through good old-fashioned hard work, rolling up our sleeves and creating a culture and a foundation that are based on discipline, accountability, work ethic, attention to detail, and selflessness. And it's that simple. And our goal is to make sure that we graduate all of our players in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, however long they may be here, with an impactful degree. All right, and make sure they leave as a better person, a better student, and a better player in that order. And it's exciting. And how do I know it can happen here? because I've seen it firsthand. And in my 24 years of coaching, I've been a part of 5 different conference championships at 5 different schools and played for one more this year. Unfortunately, that we didn't win. So I know what it looks like. You know, I have a 52-25 career record as a head coach, and I've seen it happen at the University of Akron. And I told the guys yesterday, it won't be easy, but it will be worth it. And when I say it can be done here, I was in that coaching booth, and the people who were here in 2005 in that Northern Illinois game, you know, that's the magic that we're looking to recapture. And we were on the left hash at the 35-yard line, going left to right on the screen, and the formation was double right, and the play call was 62 Z-poster smash. And Luke Getzey dropped back and pump faked to Merce Poindexter, right, in the tight end position, and threw the ball to Dominic Hickson, and Jason Montgomery in the left slot did a great job pulling the slot out of there. And Jabari Arthur ran his hitch, and Dominic Hickson caught that ball, who incidentally enough called me 5 minutes before we walked in here, which was awesome to hear from Dominic. It went crazy, and in my years, it was one of the best moments that I've had, in the feeling of the fans and the energy and the trip to that Motor City Bowl. That's what we're looking to recapture. And like I said, it won't happen immediately, but we're going to work to make sure that we get there. And as President Miller mentioned, we got to get that wagon wheel back. And that's something that's going to be, yes, please clap for that. Okay. And that is going to be a focus. We're going to put a stand up in the middle of our team room, and right now, unfortunately, it'll be empty. All right, and it'll say wagon wheel behind it. And in 5 years, I was a part of 4 wins in the wagon wheel, and it feels great when it's here, and you feel like crap when it's not. But in terms of history, played in a little rivalry game you may have heard of called the Egg Bowl, all right, from when I was the head coach of Mississippi State, and we were 2-0 in that and kept that thing where it needed to be in Starkville for 2 years. Not there now, but, you know, we'll see what happens there. And then, you know, at Fordham University, we won the Ram Crusader Cup 2 years in a row, so 4-0 in rivalry games. So you have my word, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that thing gets back here to old East Bookdale Avenue, okay? Our short-term plan, you know, as we move forward through the end of December and into January, you know, I'm working to get my staff hired. Got a lot of those guys in place right now. Working to put some of the final pieces in place. When we get these guys up here on campus in January, we're going to recruit our tails off to make sure that we get the right kind of people here. In that second signing period, organize our calendar for spring and summer. We're going to meet with all the kids individually, and I will be coaching Oregon in the bowl game, because I think that's the right thing to do to finish that season off the right way with the kids who have done an unbelievable job for us throughout the season. So finally, I'm excited to get here and get out into the school, into the city of Akron, into the state, to meet with our fans and communicate with them our vision for this program. And our expectations are high, they're going to be lofty, but they're going to be matched by our work ethic and our plan and our attention to detail. And when we step on that field for the first game in InfoCision Stadium, and it's going to be packed, we're going to play hard, we're going to play physical, we're going to play smart, we're going to play tough, you know, but most importantly, we're going to play together, and we're going to work to make sure that this university has a football team that it deserves. Okay. Thank you very much. I'll take any of your questions, and go Zips. Thank you. Good to see you again.
Coach Joe Dunn from Akron Radio TV. Welcome back to campus.
Thank you.
Remember that 2005 season so well. Of course, we were playing at the Rubber Bowl at the time.
Yes, sir.
How important was it when you came in and saw the new facilities and everything with InfoCision Stadium and the decision?
Yeah, I mean, we were in the offices prior to the season I left, and those things were built, and the stadium was, you know, just getting finished up. But to be able to drive back and see, let's say, the crown jewel of stadiums in this conference, and something that I said yesterday, can't wait to see that thing packed with fans, and it's a great recruiting tool for us as well. So all the pieces that are in place for us from a resource standpoint, a stadium standpoint, you know, we just need to do our job recruiting great athletes, coaching the ones that are here, and, you know, work to put a great product on the field.
Hey, Coach. George Thomas from the Akron Beacon Journal. I know you've been away for a while. I know you had a tour here this week. What can you sense is different from when you left?
What kind of sense is different? I may not know that specifically until I get back and I get around the guys and get involved in the day-to-day process. Obviously I could see, I was there with Mike Thomas and Mac Rhodes and Hunter, and those guys have all gone on to do great things in athletic administration and had a clear vision and a goal and a plan for the program. And to walk in here and see that what Dr. Miller and President Guthrie have done, I see a lot of those same things, that the institutional commitment to the success of the football program is at a very high level right now. So to have that gives you an opportunity for success. And now it's our job as a staff, like I said, to hire great people, put a great plan in place for the kids to be successful, and work diligently on it, to and through the season.
Do we have any other questions?
Coach, how soon do you hope to have the staff assembled and ready to go?
Our plan is to be here with the entire staff on the 2nd of January, start working on the 3rd through the 13th, and then it goes live recruiting on the 14th. So a bunch of them are in place right now, some HR things and paperwork kind of prevent us from communicating it publicly. But the plan is to have everyone in place by the 2nd of January.
If that's all, I think we're good. We'll break for any one-on-one opportunities with Coach, and we appreciate everybody's time today and consideration for coming out. Thank you.
Awesome. Have a great day. Go Zips.